What is the nicest thing you have done that no one knows about? 1. Years ago, my husband and I had a habit of stopping by our local Waffle House before we had to go out of state on business trips. We would have some breakfast and then drive the 90 minutes to the airport. On one of our many trips to Vegas, we'd stopped in to eat very early in the morning, and our waitress was one of the older ladies who had been working at this restaurant for as long as we could remember. She was always friendly and cheerful with a smile and kind word for everyone, and she was almost always there. This particular morning it was clear that she was trying to be her usual chipper self, but something was weighing on her. We got to chatting and she said her daughter had just had her third child and that she wanted so badly to go and see the new baby, but she'd had some car trouble and medical expenses and it just wasn't possible. She wasn't complaining at all. That nice lady never had a single complaint in her. She was just sharing since I'd asked. I think maybe people just tend to open up when you're genuinely interested in what they have to say. What she didn't know is that my grandpa had died only a few weeks before and he'd left me a small inheritance. It wasn't a lot of money, but it meant the world to me that he'd done it. I thought he would really like it if I used part of the inheritance to help this lady to get to go see her newest granddaughter, so I wrote her a check for a few $100s as her tip and left it under my plate so she wouldn't see it until we'd left. I wrote "for your travel fund" at the bottom of the check so she'd be sure to understand what it was for. Well, I didn't manage to get away before she saw it, and she grabbed me up in a huge hug and started crying, and then of course I started crying, and it was a big sappy mess, but she was so happy. She said she was going to go buy her ticket that day, and she was just so cute and couldn't stop smiling. I told her I wanted to see lots of pictures of her grandbaby the next time I came by, and sure enough, she had a phone full of them ready for me the next time we stopped in. 2. When I was 20, I saw the most gorgeous white woolen peacoat for sale. It was too expensive, but it was divine. It was so classic, that even now, looking back on it, I wish I would see another like it for sale. I just had to have it, but it was so expensive. It was for sale for nearly $200, and nothing in my wardrobe even came remotely close to that amount, combined. I saved, and saved my money, and by the time I had enough, it had dropped in price to about $150. I bought that coat, and wore it every single day. I was positively smitten with it. Then, one day at work I was walking past the transport van and got black soot and dirt on the sleeve. It was a large dark mark, and would need to be cleaned specially. I took it to the dry cleaner, who told me it could be cleaned without damaging it, but that would cost more than I was currently able to pay, as I was between checks. I kept it folded in my trunk until such a time as I could afford to get it cleaned, and dug out an old coat I had lying around. One night, on my way home from work, I stopped for gas. As I was pulling in, there was a young female attendant sweeping the parking lot in her short-sleeved uniform, with no protection from the positively bone-chilling temperatures outside. She went in when I pulled up, and I parked and went inside to prepay for my gas. I sparked up a conversation, and when I asked, she told me she had no coat, as she was freshly on her own and unable to afford one. I told her to wait, and I walked out to my car and got my beautiful white coat. I brought it to her, and told her I thought it would be gorgeous on her, if only she would get the stain cleaned. I told her I hoped she could still get some use out of it in the meanwhile, and that the dry cleaner said it could be cleaned. The look on her face went from this unspoken depression to that of pure joy. I didn't wait around, because I didn't want her to feel badly, or feel obligated to act in any certain way on my behalf. I pumped my gas, and left, but as I was pulling out I caught